Hey guys, today I want to show you a really quick and easy way to remove softboxes and light stands from the edges of your frame when you're shooting in on a plain background. It might be in a studio or up against a plain blue sky or a wall. It'll even work against a brick wall, so you can basically go from this to this in less than a minute. And I also want to show you that using the same technique, we can get an image where we've shot in vertical and increase our image and make it a horizontal and extend the frame. Again, less than a minute to achieve this look, and we can also increase the size of our overall mat in situations where it has to be where you're on a plain background. So to resize an image and go from this to this really quickly and really easily. So the thing that I've noticed in the last few years in particular is there has been a greater call for horizontal images. So I spent most of my career training myself to continually shoot vertical, which is like kind of an extra step when you think about it. And I tried to stop myself from being lazy and shooting horizontal because I knew there was more call for vertical images, for covers and images that go on the wall rather than horizontal images. And now people, my clients, not only do they want me to shoot vertical for covers and editorial shoots and prints, but they also want to use the images for web content. And images on the web look much better when they're shot in a horizontal format because they actually fill the frame. So this is everything I've just shown you is all done in Photoshop using this simple little technique in under a minute. So let me go ahead and open Photoshop. So on the screen now, I've got an image of model Joss Houston, and this was shot in my studio here in Melbourne. And basically, what I've done, this is a typical lighting setup that I might use. A couple of soft boxes, and there's also a beauty dish just above his head. And so when I'm shooting my portraits, I really like to get my lights in as close to the model as possible. So I'm constantly having to negotiate light stands and soft boxes and try and not have them in my shot. But there are occasions where, and it's fine, if I was shooting this as say a 3/4 shot, you wouldn't even see the soft boxes in the frame because I'm using a really long lens. I'm shooting at around 135 to 200 millimeters, and the longer lens has a much narrower angle of view, so I can get around this issue no problems. But the minute I zoom out, if I was to stay on 200, I'd end up being like too far away from my model and out the back of the studio, so it doesn't work. So I'll sort of zoom out a bit, and what happens is I get lightbox creep. The lightbox creeps into the edge of the frame. So I try and when I'm shooting, if I'm doing a big shoot, I will try and not have any soft boxes in my frame because you want to avoid having to do any as like minimal editing, especially when you might have like hundreds of shots or thousands of shots, which is sometimes the case when I'm shooting. So I really want to try and avoid having to do that. So if I can, I will either like move the lights out a titch and try and keep my frame as clean as possible. But in this case, I wasn't doing that many shots, and I knew I could use this technique in the end, so I did end up bringing my soft boxes in nice and close. So how would I tackle this? Well, I just want to show you a few ways that you might go about removing light stands or softboxes or anything that's poking into the edge of frame. It might be even an assistant holding a reflector or something like that. The first thing that I might try and do is just go ahead and crop the image so that I crop the soft boxes out. So if I try and do that and keep the scale of the frame size, so keep it in the same dimensions, and that's by holding the shift key as I crop. That'll keep it in scale, so it won't allow me to do anything different. I can try and remove the soft boxes and keep the image in scale, but you see what happens is I either lose the top of his head or I'm cropping into his ankles, or I have to go ahead and make it a 3/4 crop, which I've done in the past, and then you end up losing resolution of your image. So like I've just probably lost more than 50% of the resolution of my image because I'm now only using this small amount of the image. So cropping is in this way is not ideal. I can also just try and keep all of Josh's body in frame just by cropping in an irregular way just to get the soft boxes out of frame. Okay, and you can see that that does a good job at removing them, but what I'm left with is an irregular shaped image. And so if you were to do this for a portrait client, someone you've taken photos for, and you gave them this irregular shape, that means if they go to try and get prints from this image, they're going to have to go to custom printing, which ends up being more expensive. And if I was to hand this to, say, a magazine client, it's an irregular shape, so it means that like if they try and put it on the cover or in a spread, it's not going to fit on the page. It doesn't scale, so they'll end up running it smaller, or it just becomes problematic. So again, not an ideal way to remove the soft boxes. So let's just go back to where we started, and I'll just clear the history there. The other way is to use the clone stamp tool, and that's here in the toolbox, and shortcut for that is S. And basically I can select pixels in an area that I want to cover basically the softbox with. So the clone stamp, if I go ahead and click option, it'll select the pixels from there, and then if I click on my mouse, it's going to just basically copy them exactly over the image. Now you can sit there and do this, and I've cloned so many shots like this, it's not funny, and it takes ages. It's not very accurate, and you can see that like you get all sorts of debris and stuff in your frame. And I keep grabbing the guides. Okay, so there you go. It's done an okay job, but you can see all this shadowing, and it's time consuming, and it's not ideal, and it doesn't really do a very good job at getting rid of the softbox. So that's not an option either. So the other way is there's a really clever tool in Photoshop called Fill, which is not Fill my friend, but it's F-I-L-L. So basically, if you select the marquee tool, shortcut is M, I can draw around my softbox like so, and I can go down to Edit, Fill, and you'll get another drop down box, and I can choose content aware. And what content aware does is the Hans, who works inside of Photoshop, will know that what you're trying to do here is replace the image that you've selected with the background, and it does a pretty good job. But there's issues if you're not precise in the way that you make your selection. So let's just go ahead and see what happens. It'll think about it and then bang. So what it's done is you can see, like I've actually deliberately missed part of it, but you can see that it's not fantastic. There'll be some ghosting. And so if you've got like other stuff poking into the frame, Photoshop will recognize those pixels and import them into the area that you've filled, and it doesn't do a very precise job. So again, not ideal, and because I want to prove how good my tool is, I want to make sure that it's not ideal. So that's that. And content aware fill can be great in certain situations, and I will post some videos on that down the track on where I've used it successfully. So what's another way we can get rid of softboxes? So the other one is the spot healing brush. Shortcut for that is J. So basically, I think it'll do a pretty good job if I have a go at removing this light stand. So just holding down on my mouse, going over the area that I want to get rid of, and bang, magic, it's gone. And in a couple of goes, and let's just move in closer. You can still see there's like a bit of guff. Look how dirty my floor is, sorry. And you can... It works pretty well. So that's the spot healing brush. So if I just had that little area there to fix up, I would probably just use the spot healing brush. But it's basically these big soft boxes that I want to get rid of. So all right, so I'm now going to show you how to do it. So again, we're going to select the marquee tool, and in this case I'm going to select a rectangle tool. I want to make sure that I don't have a feather in this, so I'll get rid of the feather, have that back to 0. I'm going to select an area just slightly bigger than the area that I want to remove, so I've just gone over it and to the cross a little bit. Then we go edit, we go past our friend fill down to content aware. And if I click on that, what will happen is we'll get these little handles on the image. And if I grab on that little handle and just drag out to the left, this is where the magic happens. Look at this. It's gone. Just like that. Done. I love that so much. And it's gone. Just like that. There. Before, after, before, after. Let's do the other side. So just make a selection with my marquee tool, head down to edit, content aware scale, little handles there, grab on, and this time I'm dragging out to the right, all the way out until I'm not seeing any of the softbox anymore, peeking out of frame. Done. All clean, all gone, and I can even do it with this little area here, just to show you. Drag it out, job done, move on. All right, so that's how to. So that'll work on, as I said, like a plain background in a studio, or if you've got like a plain wall that you're photographing someone against, and you've just had like maybe the edge of your softbox or a light stand just peeking in. Give content aware scale a go. All right, so let's now move on. I've got this image of Lucy here, and so as I was saying earlier, like there's lots of occasions now where I might have a vertical image, and clients have asked, can we have it as a horizontal, or they will go ahead and crop it as a horizontal. And so if I was to have a go now at trying to get this to fill some sort of horizontal ratio, you can see that what happens is I'm going to have to give up some of the image to make it a horizontal image, and it'll end up being cropped something like this. And that in itself isn't bad, but it loses the whole sort of the space and the look and feel of the shot. So it's not ideal, and I've also reduced my image size to, like you can see there, the document's 56 meg. Once I've cropped it, it's 24 meg. So, or just in cropping it to become a horizontal image, I've lost half my image size. So not ideal. So I want to show you how to increase our image size just by using this tool. So what I've got is I've got my vertical canvas, and I now need to make a horizontal canvas. So I want to extend the canvas out to the right. I could go out to the left and just follow her eye, but I really like what's happening with this puddle of light. So for this example, I'm going to go to the right. So the way to do that is if you go into the drop down menu up to image, and we go to canvas size, you get a little drop down box that comes up. And so at the moment I've got a canvas size, the width is 12 inches, and I've got basically 18 inches high. So what I want to do, sort of a nice frame size for a vertical image, is basically 1.5 width by 1.5 times the height. So the width is 1.5 times the height. I'm confusing myself. I have to do math now. So basically that works out, if I double that 1.5 times, makes it so to 28 millimeter, 28 inches across by 18. Is that right? So 18, 1.5, 27. Sorry. Just hear you all face palming at the moment at my okay. So what I did there is I've actually increased my canvas to the left and to the right, because I didn't check which direction I wanted the canvas to increase. So if I wanted to keep her in the middle, just using this tool, I can make a selection down one side like that, go down and hit content aware scale, grab onto my little handle, move out to the left. All right, check OK, and do it to the other side. Content aware scale. There you go. And I've just created an image where, like, there she is in the middle, but I've got this lovely horizontal frame, and I haven't had to crop in, and it's like it's matched the tone so beautifully. This is why I love this technique. And have a look at the image size here. So we've gone from a 56 meg file to we've doubled the file size. So you're not losing any of the file size. You're actually increasing file size, which is a good thing. So that's how you can use the content aware scale. If I wanted to create an image on one side or the other, I'll just show you like working right. So if I go to image, canvas size, in this little checkbox, if I click on any of the arrows, I can actually tell Photoshop which way I want to increase my canvas size. So in this case, I want to increase it to the right hand side of the image. So if I click on that arrow and you see that the arrow is pointing to the right, and then I go ahead and make my 27-inch matte canvas across. So I've increased the width to 27. The directions of the arrow tell me that Photoshop is going to add a canvas to the right hand side, and it's done that, and it's probably laughed at my math skills as well at the same time, but I'm not paranoid at all. So alright, so basically now all I need to do is the hardest part about this is making sure that you make a selection without actually getting the model in your shot. So that's not quite right. I just need to move my cursor along, and I managed to get it this time. Alright, so go down to edit, content aware scale, grab onto the little handle there, and I'm just dragging out to the right, check OK, job done. And there it is. I've created this nice horizontal image. It's managed to match the tones nicely and recreate all the textures. I just want to show you quickly another way that you can use this tool. Is you can see that I've got all these areas of discolored concrete that I don't really like. So I could go ahead and go in and use the clone stamp and clone over that. But I just want to show you how you can retouch these areas using the content aware scale. So let's have a look at this bit here. So what I want to do is I want to retouch this in a non-destructive way. So before I go into retouching, I'm just going to duplicate my layer. So Command J will do that, and so you can see in the layers panel I've got two layers. I'm going to work on the top layer, and that's just if I make a mistake, I can just actually get rid of that layer and start again, and I'm not having to start the whole canvas resize and go back from the start. So what I'm going to do is actually just select an area and drag it and cover this area here. But for this sort of retouching, I want to show you what happens if I do it without a feather. So I've got my area selected. I'm going to go to Edit, Content Aware Scale, and I'm just going to drag over that image. There you go. It's like magic. Alright, and when I deselect, you'll see that you can just see, I'm not sure if you can see that, but you'll see that it's not perfect, and I'm getting like the edge of my frame, it's not blending in beautifully. So let's just try that again. So with a feather added in, so that means that the edge of my selection is a little bit softer, and it'll help blend your retouching in a bit better. So let's go to say 25 pixels. So it's softened the edge, and I'm going to make another selection just right next to the image, and then again I'm going to go to, and I'll just let me just show you, if I make the selection here, if I remove the top layer, I want to show you how it's feathered the selection. Actually, I'll try moving the bottom layer. No, that didn't work. I can't show you. Alright, so let's just move it across, and you'll see that, hang on, Edit, Content Aware Scale, and like we're going to grab onto the handle and just move it across, and you can see that it's now actually blending in really well. And there you go. And so you can't, there's no telltale signs, and that's actually a really nice, quick, easy way to retouch any sort of simple areas like that, rather than having to bring in the clone stamp or something like that. So there you go. So let me just have another go at we'll just get rid of this. Let me find another area to, let's do this bit here. which is going to be tricky. So I might just go from here to here, edit, content aware scale, drag it across. So you can see the ghosting and you can see how soft the edge of the frame is as I'm bringing it across. And you can also see what's happening is where I've made my adjustment, it's going into the edge of Lucy's dress. So I'm going to show you a really good way to get rid of that. So I'll go ahead and commit to that, deselect my area, and now what I'm going to do is just maybe come in with a really soft brush, and I can just remove any any of the cloning that's gone into her dress just to clean it up, and I've still managed to keep that whole area clean. So let me just show you before, after, before, after. So that's just a really good way, and you could probably continue on and like go to town on that. So there you go. So there it is. It's duplicated the light, and I've created a lovely large horizontal file out of a vertical file. All right, one more. So let's just go ahead, and I think I'll save that because all right, so here's my image of Matthew Dellavedova. Matthew's a NBA basketball player, and I did these shots of him for a magazine cover, and I shot as a vertical format because it needed to fill the frame. I needed to leave space above his head for the masthead, and so this is typical of a cover shoot format that I might do. Now, this was shot using a beauty dish, and also had a couple of soft boxes in there as fill, and so I was very happy with the shot, but then I had a need for it to be created as a vertical image. So I just wanted to show you a really quick way that you can use the content aware scale tool to increase something like this and make an empty area and make it like your shots look sort of more interesting and dynamic. So what I'm going to do is again increase my canvas size. So currently I have a height of 12 inches and a width of 8. So basically I want to make it 1.5 times, so that would be 1.5 times. I gotta do math. So 24. I'm never doing math again when I do something like this. So 1.5 times is actually 18 by 12. So, and again, I want my canvas to go to the right hand side of the frame. So we go that way and click on OK. So I've increased my canvas. So I've got this lovely, nice, wide image. It's 1.5 times longer than it is high, which is a really nice, visually a nice format to have. And again, so the hardest part about this is making your selection so that you're not actually getting any part of the model in. So I've made my selection, go edit, content aware scale, and just I've still got my feather selected. So let's just go back and get the canvas size. Let's get rid of the feather because that's going to botch the whole thing up. So again, hardest part is making the selection. Okay, edit, content aware scale, grab onto the handle, drag across, Job done. And there we go. And that's an easy way just to extend the mask using content-aware scale. So, yeah, there you go. There's a few ways to use the tool. I think it's great. I think it comes in really handy. Yeah.